you love our country and love your children as much as I know that you do, stand and speak and vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket who you trust to defend our freedom and to be faithful to the Constitution.
It was the completely unwinnable situation for a career politician. Stand behind your party. Be the good soldier. Do whatever you can to ensure your group gets exactly what they want and what they need at a precise moment. Or listen to the inner voice reminding you that family and personal conscience comes first, while at the same time understanding that in the battle called politics, family and conscience are often nothing more than afterthoughts, ones that can only make you the point of scorn if you dare play that card. Texas Senator Ted Cruz chose the latter, knowing the hammers that would fall. And it didn't hurt to know that the Trump campaign knew everything he was going to say on the convention stage Wednesday night, 3 days prior. Let's begin there. Let's head for that convention floor. His final night as our rock there. Welcome back the Newsmax chief Washington correspondent, who can be read 24/7 at Newsmax.com, John Gizzi. All right, John, there's the big news that came out today after Ted Cruz's amazing speech last night. He says, I gave this speech to the Trump campaign 3 days beforehand, and Donald Trump even said he saw it before the speech itself and allowed it. What does that then tell us? It would seem to many that Donald Trump knew what was going on, and he used this to his advantage.
Well, it tells me that Donald Trump is very shrewd politically, especially for someone who's only the second person in American history to have held neither elective nor appointive office. I read his tweet when I got back to the hotel last night. He saw it 2 hours ahead of time, and he said, it didn't make much impact. I let it go, but no one really cares. So he got to take a whack back at Ted Cruz. Today, one is finding that Ted Cruz is facing retribution even from people who supported him for the nomination. At the breakfast of the Texas delegation, former state party chairman Tom Pauken tells me he got some rough questions about why he violated his pledge not to endorse the nominee of the party. Others are talking about requesting that Cruz write his contributors and return the money for his presidential campaign. There's precedent for this with other people who've not kept promises in politics, and they've at least offered their contributors the right to have their money back. We'll hear more about this as time goes on.
You brought up that Texas delegation breakfast. Ted Cruz spoke at it this morning, and here he was explaining exactly why and what he said to the convention last night in his own words.
Listen, I assume there's a reason the Trump campaign wanted me to speak. They saw my speech several hours before I gave it. They knew exactly what I was going to say. I assume the reason they wanted me to speak is they believed my delivering that message would encourage people to come out and vote, and they believed it would help.
Let's then look at exactly what was said here, because, again, Ted Cruz, John, comes out and talks about his conscience, but he also does bring up the fact Donald Trump slammed the looks, the appearance, if you will, of his wife early in the campaign, and also brought up a rumor, a completely unsubstantiated story about Ted Cruz's dad being connected to the Kennedy assassination. He says, I can't, in all good conscience, basically endorse somebody like that. Doesn't he make a good point about conscience?
Well, I'm just reporting on what the delegates say right now. There is obviously a good case for when one insults your family, you come back swinging. That's off limits. On the other hand, I would remind Senator Cruz that in politics, charges, nastiness, invective, and ad hominem attacks are as old as the Republican Party. I would respectfully request that he reread, because I'm certain he's read it, Doris Kearns Goodwin's Team of Rivals, and read some of the things they said about Abraham Lincoln when he sought the nomination. If Lincoln was bothered, he kept it to himself, and guess what? He put all of his rivals for the nomination in his cabinet. This is something I think that Senator Cruz should think about. I know this, while my heart is with him, many delegates are simply saying, suck it up, Ted.
60 seconds left here, John. What are you, as someone who has been around conventions and politics a long time, expecting Donald Trump to say this evening?
I have a funny feeling Donald Trump will surprise people. Jim Rappaport, former Republican state chairman of Massachusetts and a Kasich delegate, who himself has not yet endorsed Trump for the nomination, said that Trump will bring him over from just saying he'd probably vote for him to stop Hillary Clinton to I'm enthusiastic if he gives a speech such as Ronald Reagan gave in 1980 with vision, and or that Franklin Roosevelt gave in 1932 talking about a New Deal. Mr. Rappaport also said Donald Trump can't be the jerk that so many people think he is and he comes across as. If he comes across as a serious presidential candidate, then he saved the convention and it's his night.
It is Donald Trump's moment to do just that. John, you've done an outstanding job on the floor of the convention there in Cleveland. I want to thank you so much. I want to remind everybody the John Gizzi stuff can be read 24/7 at Newsmax.com. John, thanks so much for joining us.